The MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Shady Rays. Shady Rays is having their best deal of the year. Go to shadyrays.com and use promo code SGPN for 50% off of 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses, and go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/shady to enter the Shady Rays Parlay of the Day contest. We're also brought to you by the SGPN's Draft Week. All week long, SGPN has you covered with draft props, mock drafts, and our live NFL draft watch party. So make sure to smash that subscribe button at youtube.com/sportsgamblingpodcast. Welcome, everyone, to the MLB Gambling Podcast, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It is Wednesday, April 26th, here to discuss our MLB betting picks for the Thursday games. 11-game schedule on the docket, and here to help me break it all down, I got the young guns of the show. First, my main man on the East Coast. You guys know him as the voice of the NFL Gambling Podcast, and of course, here on the MLB Gambling Podcast, it's Dylan Rockford. D-Rock, what's going on, buddy?
What's going on, boys? Good to be with you. Cashed a few tickets today. We got the Orioles came through. Yankees has a dog covered as well. And Dylan in the chat, the Brewers are dead to me after not covering, but they did cover today. Blue Jays won outright as well. And Zach Gallen, 10 strikeouts through 5 innings. Man's on fire right now.
Yeah, that game on right now. D-backs have a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the 5th. So Zach Gallen has, after a rough start, has definitely turned it around for sure. Also joining us here to help us break it all down, you guys know him as the voice, of course, here on the MLB Gambling Podcast in the college baseball experience, of course, on the college experience overall as well. It's Noah Bieniek. Noah, what's happening, buddy?
What's going on, guys? Brewers are dead to you. I mean, they were my dog. And let's not talk about that double dog that Malcolm and I had, because the Rangers blew that in the 9th inning. They got walked off, and that's how we lost the triple lock knot, as Munaf put it. So, yeah, that one was a rough one. And to address why I'm wearing Lions gear, we're doing the NFL or SGPN NFL mock draft like an hour after this show. So just getting right into it. I love that. Let's do it, boys.
Yeah, it should be a good time. If you're watching live, definitely tune in around 4 p.m. Pacific time. We're doing first round of the NFL mock draft for the SGPN crew. It's a yearly thing now, so definitely tune in at that time. But hey, guys, 11 games on the schedule. Why don't we just dive right into it? Day baseball, as we like to say here on the pod. T-shirts are pending. But first game on the board, we're going to go to Atlanta, a 12:20 start on the East Coast. We got the Miami Marlins and the Atlanta Braves. I'm looking at probable pitchers for this game. Braxton Garrett for the Miami Marlins, and Kyle Wright gets the start for the Atlanta Braves. Right now, I'm currently lines of plus 160 for the Miami Marlins and minus 190 on the money line for the Atlanta Braves. Total set at 8.5 with a little bit of vig towards the over at minus 120. Run line minus 1.5 plus 105 and plus 1.5 minus 125 for the Marlins. D-Rock, lead us off, my man.
Yeah, I'm going to take a shot here with the Braves on the run line. I'm going to trust Kyle Wright. He's going to have a bounce back start here. I feel it. He hasn't been his best in his 3 starts, but he has had success against the Marlins in his career. 2-2, 3.75 ERA. The Marlins, they don't really hit righties all that well, 2.33 average. And on the other hand, Garrett has had a good start on the season, but he is 0-2 in his career versus the Braves, and Braves just smash lefties. I think this is going to be Garrett's toughest task this season. I think the Braves might get to him. So they've covered the run line in the first 2 games. I think they do it again tomorrow. You could get plus money out there. I needed a minus 105, so I'll gladly take plus 110 with the Braves on the run line here.
Yeah, I think this was pretty easy for me as well. I mean, just retweet everything that you just said. I think Kyle Wright is 19, or the Braves are 19-2 in his last 21 starts, if I'm not mistaken. But he's just been a win machine for the Atlanta Braves. And Marlins just aren't very good right now. So I'm going to take my chance with the run line. I'm right there with you. Noah, what do you got?
Yep, right there with you guys. Retweeting it. This one's probably a trumpets after, but yeah, the Braves, like Dylan mentioned, they're third in the MLB in OPS against lefties at the 905. And, Wright has struggled early coming off the shoulder surgery. But, I mean, this Miami Marlins team striking out 25% of the time against right-handed pitching. It might not be a bad strikeout prop as well. So, guys, you want to hit some trumpets?
Let's lead it off with the trumpets. Team Ride. Dylan's heart every time we play it now.
I was watching live one day, and I think Noah played it, and in the car I was just like, I have to mute you guys. Like I just couldn't do it.
Dylan's being a team player, rocking with us, but you could see the pain in his eyes. Poor guy. All right, guys, let's get over to the next game of the afternoon. 12:35 Eastern start. We've got the LA Dodgers and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Julio Urias, left-handed pitcher, gets a start for the Dodgers. Mitch Keller on the mound for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Currently seeing a -170 favorite on the road here for the Dodgers. +145 on the money line for the home dogs here, the Pirates. Total is set at 8 with a little bit of vig towards the over at -120. Run line is both -110 both ways. Noah, lead us off with your Pirates, my man.
If you remove Mitch Keller's first start of the year at Cincinnati, he has a 2.88 ERA through 4 starts against the Cardinals, the Astros, at the Red Sox, and home versus the Reds. That's a pretty impressive stretch while being in the 86th percentile in average exit velocity against and 96th percentile in hard hit percentage against. But the Dodgers rank second in on-base plus slugging percentage against righties. For this game, I'm going to lean to the first 5 over, because the Buccos have seen the ball well off of southpaws so far this year with an 803 OPS. That's the 6th best in the MLB. The Cubs are just ahead of the Pirates. Why do I mention the Cubs, eh? The Cubs have an 806 OPS against lefties. That's just 3 points higher than the Pirates. Julio Urias' last 2 starts were against the Cubs, and he gave a combined 7 runs in 9 innings during the 2 games. So I like the first 5 over here when that comes out.
Yeah, Urias has been struggling a little bit, like you mentioned, over his last 2 starts here at least. So definitely could see the possibility of some runs here. D-Rock, what do you got?
Yeah, this one, honestly, I thought was the toughest game to handicap. My numbers did make the Dodgers a -165 favorite and the total 7.7. So if anything for the show, a lean towards the under. I see 8.5s out there, but not anything I'm actually going to bet. I can't back the Dodgers here at this price, and I need about 20 more cents to be on the Pirates. Back-to-back losses, like you mentioned, for Julio Urias. Mitch Keller has slowly been one of the Buccos' best pitchers this season, and they've won every game he started except that one against the Cardinals. I'm hoping to see a pitcher's duel in this one, so maybe the bats calm down a little. The Dodgers' bats have come to life these past few games, so 2 solid pitchers on the mound. Nothing on this side. I'll lean towards the under 8.5 in this one.
Yeah, I couldn't lay the hefty price with Urias here, especially if his struggles over his last 2 games. I mean, historically, if you kind of look at his numbers, he has struggled against the Cubbies, which, was on display over his last 2 starts. But he is getting the strikeouts. And again, that's been something that he's been improving on year over year, has Julio Urias. But I think the Pirates, maybe in the first 5 inning money line, it's something that I would definitely look at because what was it, the triple lock day? I took the Pirates. That's going to go down as a historical pod for us. But I was on the Pirates that day, and they were up 7-2, and then they coughed up the lead and lost the game 8-7. So that one hurt a little bit.
It was so bad. I bet the Rangers, and I go, oh, I won't have an effect. I wasn't on the pod. When they lost it in the 8th and 9th inning, I just looked at my phone. I was like, of course it happened to me too.
Yeah, I didn't have eyes on that game. You want to know how I figured out that? I was scrolling through Twitter and I saw that Kirk Herbstreit tweeted out that the Reds walked it off. That's how I figured out that we lost that game.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. All right, guys, before we get over to the next game of the afternoon, I should say, let me tell everyone about a parlay contest that we're running over on the Sports Gambling Podcast. And it's courtesy of Shady Rays. We're running a special parlay of the day contest for people who've bought their shades from shadyrays.com using the promo code SGPN. Each day of the NFL draft of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network will release a Shady Rays parlay of the day. Now, if the parlay hits, the cash will be awarded to one lucky listener. For all the details, all you got to do is just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com. MLB.com/shady to start getting shady. And like I mentioned about Shady Rays, they are our presenting sponsor right now. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered from the sun to the slopes with premium polarized shades, customizable snow goggles, and much more. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair that we've worn. Durable frames and extremely clear optics for outdoor adventures. That's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. Wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after your purchase. With Shady Rays, you can look good and feel good. Today, they have donated over 20 million meals to fight hunger with Feeding America. If you don't love them, exchange them for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop with Shady Rays. Their team always has your back. So exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out the best deal of the year. Go to shadyrays.com and use promo code SGPN for 50% off of 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 200,000 people.
Munaf, did you see Kobe's video for Shady Rays? That was legendary.
I don't know if you caught it's Sean in the background. He's like, what the hell?
He just walks right back.
He looks out, he has the camera in his hand. He's like, he just walks right back into the studio. It was funny to see.
That was great.
Great read, though, Munaf. Great read.
All right, guys, let's go over to the next game of the afternoon. We have a 1:05 Eastern start. It's going to be the Seattle Mariners and the Philadelphia Phillies. Seeing George Kirby is going to be on the mound for the Mariners, and Matt Strahm gets to start here for the Philadelphia Phillies. It's -110 both ways on the money line for both teams here. Total is set at 8.5 at -115 towards the over. Run line -1.5 plus 160 for the Mariners and +1.5 -190 for the Philadelphia Phillies. So far this season, George Kirby has looked hasn't been too bad for the Seattle Mariners. He is 2-1 with a 3.57 ERA. Only allowed 9 earned runs in about 22 2/3 innings pitched here. His last start, he's actually won both of his last 2 starts, I should say, which came against the Colorado Rockies and the St. Louis Cardinals at home. Only allowed 2 earned runs in each of those starts. Strikeouts in those games, he had 5 and 3, so hasn't really been a big strikeout pitcher, but he's pitched pretty well. Same thing with Matt Strahm. I know he got off to a pretty good start to the season for the Phillies, has faltered a little bit over his last couple starts. He is a left-handed pitcher. I think that one that kind of stood out to me over the course of the season thus far is that Mariners have struggled against left-handed pitching. They're kind of bottom in the league as far as most offensive statistical categories, whether it's team batting average, OPS, slugging, WRC plus. I think the one thing that still does concern me is that I really don't trust his Phillies offense right now. I mean, there's times where more times than not, they don't show up versus even some of the less subpar pitchers in the league or this season thus far. I think we may get a pitcher's duel here. I kind of do like the under 8.5. Gun to my head, I would go with the Phillies here. I think with a left-handed pitcher on the mound, I think the Mariners bats will struggle here a little bit. So do like the under 8.5, and I'll lean with the Philadelphia Phillies here at home here. Dylan, what do you got?
Yeah, game out of pick 'em right now, but I was able to grab the Mariners at the opening price, +105. I jumped on that. I made the Mariners a -115 favorite, so I still like them at. I'm just very high on George Kirby. I think he'll turn it around. He was great in his last start, only giving up 1 run in 6 innings on the road. And I look towards his walk prop. You know, he only has 1 walk in 4 starts, and it was his first start. So under 1.5, maybe look towards an under walk prop. Another angle you could play in this game, I'm not a really big believer in Matt Strahm. 1 game, he pitches 2 innings, then 4, then 2 innings. Just can't get behind a guy like that. Another prop I like is target Jared Klinick. Over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. He's gotten over that number in 5 straight, over 75% on the season. And they might not hit lefties a lot, but he's smashing lefties this season, finally. So That's how I play this game. I really like Jared Klinick, his over hits, runs, and RBI prop. It's a DK special, so if your state has DraftKings, I would look towards that. Under 1.5 walks for Kirby, and I like the Mariners as well here.
Noah?
I like the Phillies. I'm going with Matt Strom in the first 5. I like them on the money line. The Phillies, they are 5th in the MLB in OPS against right-handed pitching, and Kirby's been average so far. There's nothing that makes me jump to his side to want to back him. And I'm going against the Mariners here with the 649 OPS against lefties. Munaf mentioned it. Basically, all their stat categories, they're bottom 10 in the league against lefties. Matt Strom has been stretched out in his last 3 outings. He's gone 5 innings in 2 of them. So I'm going to back the lefty with the Phillies offense that has been better against right-handed pitching so far this year.
All righty. Let's go to the next game of the afternoon, guys. 2:20 Eastern start. It's going to be the San Diego Padres and the Chicago Cubbies. Currently seeing Seth Lugo is going to get the start for the Padres and Hayden Wisniewski on the mound for the Chicago Cubbies. Padres are favored in this game, minus 135, and the Cubbies are a home puppy here, plus 115. No total yet, obviously, because we're waiting for the wind direction in this game. But Dylan, lead us off here. Padres versus Cubs.
Yeah, give me the home puppy. I got the Cubs at a plus 130. I actually made the Cubs a minus 110 favorite. The Cubs are just a better team, in my opinion. Offensively, defensively, just overall a better team right now. I know Seth Lugo, he's been pitching well this season, but just not a believer in him. And against a top 5 offense in the Cubs, I think we may see some regression from him. And on the other hand, Hayden Wisniewski, and he's kind of been up and down in every start, but the Cubs have won 3 of his last 4 starts. So I feel like it might be a shootout of a game. And if that is the case, I trust the bats way more with the Cubs than I do the Padres. Padres only hitting 201 off of righties. Plus 115 is just too good of a number to pass on the better team, in my opinion. So give me the home puppy here.
I like everything that Dylan just said about the whole matchup, and I'm just going to add this angle. The Padres get the day off on Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday they play the Giants in Mexico City. This could be a nice little look-ahead spot where the team actually just wants to get out of Chicago and into Mexico. So
that's a good point.
Yeah, I kind of like this with Hayden Wisniewski on the mound for the Cubs.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I really like what the Cubs have put together this season. I think we all talked about it when we were doing the preview shows. I think that a lot of us were on the over for the Cubbies on their win total, and
except
the pitching, except for Mal, of course. But the pitching has been really good for this team as well. I mean, we've talked about it at volume. So I'm with you guys. Let's take the home puppy here, the Cubbies. All right, before we keep it rolling here, let me tell everyone about Underdog Fantasy. We're brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. The NBA and NHL playoffs are here, and what better way to get down on some player prop parlays than over at Underdog Fantasy? Besides daily NHL, NBA, and MLB games, they've also already got NFL best ball drafts with a guaranteed $500,000 in prizes. Head over to UnderdogFantasy.com and use promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit bonus of up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. And part of SGPN's Draft Week, SGPN is holding a free NFL Draft Props contest exclusively for members of our Discord. It's completely free to join, and the winner gets $250 in cash and a $50 SGPN gift card. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord and go to the NFL channel for the sign-up link. All right, boys, let's get over to the next game of the afternoon. It's going to be a 3:45 Eastern start between the St. Louis Cardinals and the San Francisco Giants. Seeing probable pitchers of Miles Mikolas on the mound for the Cardinals, and Logan Webb gets a start here for the San Francisco Giants. Currently seeing the Cardinals are a plus 115 underdog, and the Giants are a minus 135 home favorite. Total is set at 8.5. Run line minus 1.5, plus 170 for the Giants, and plus 1.5, minus 200 for the St. Louis Cardinals. Noah, take us away here for the Cardinals and the Giants.
So for these two starting pitchers, I'm on complete opposite sides of the spectrum. I love Logan Webb, and so far this year, he has been having his control, like he has good control like he always does. But through his first month of play, Webb has a career-high strikeout rate, and it's if a 4-year-old opened Miles Mikolas' Baseball Savant page, they'd be able to tell you why he has a 7.46 ERA by saying that's a lot of blue. So he's kind of in my doghouse right now. The Giants, they have the third highest OPS against right-handed pitching with an 809. St. Louis has a 729 against righties. I like the Giants here in every which way. First five run line or the full game money line. Even Giants -1.5 plus 170 for me.
Dylan?
Yeah, some news. The Cardinals just tweeted out rookie outfielder Jordan Walker has been optioned to AAA.
Saw that.
That's very interesting. Wow. But yeah, everything Noah said, I'm on the Giants here as well. I got him at a -115 earlier. I made him a -145. Both pitchers aren't the best, but I do trust Logan Webb much more than I do Miles Mikolas. He's just getting lit up in every start. And I just don't think you could back the Cardinals right now. 3-7 in their last 10, losing, including 4 of their last 5, 1-7 as a dog. Giants, they kind of figured things out a little bit for right now. They won 4 in a row, and they hit righties a lot. So I like them first 5. I like them full game as well.
Yeah, I'm with you guys here as well. Logan Webb has been a guy like over the past couple of seasons where you want to back in San Francisco. He's just been so good. I know he's had some struggles here early on in the season, but I think this is a good spot for him to bounce back. And again, I'm not putting money on Miles Mikolas, who has just struggled tremendously for the St. Louis Cardinals. Yeah.
For what it's worth, I know I was all over the Giants in this handicap, but I kind of want to use that same angle, though. Like, do we think the Giants have the same look at it as the Padres? Mexico? Because they get the day off on Friday, too.
I think the difference might be is that the Giants are at home versus the Padres are on the road.
Sure.
Like, maybe they want to get the hell out of Chicago.
It's a quicker trip, too, from
San Francisco.
The Giants are at home with their ace on the mound. Maybe that's a different way of looking at it. I like that a little bit more. I do.
Yeah. All right, let's get over to the next game on the board. Let's go over to a 4:07 Eastern start between the Oakland A's and the Los Angeles Angels. Seeing JP Spears is going to get the start here for the Oakland A's, and Shohei Ohtani is on the mound for the Angels. Angels a overwhelming favorite here, -300 on the money line, +250 on the money line for the Oakland A's. Total is set at 8 with a little bit of VIG towards the under at -115. Run line +1.5 even money for the A's and -1.5, -120 for the Angels. I'm going to keep it simple here, man. Last time Ohtani was at home, I took him as my lock for the pod that day. It's a similar number. It's the Oakland A's. Shohei Ohtani's had some good success against the Oakland A's throughout his career. I think last season, I don't think he won a game against them, but if you kind of take a look at the game log against the A's in his career for Ohtani, he's been pretty dominant in those starts, and he's been really good striking out some of these batters as well in those starts. He's had a couple of starts in there where he had double-digit strikeouts for the Los Angeles Angels against the A's. Again, we talked about it, right? When you have Ohtani on the mound, definitely one of their best pitchers. That's the time I want to back him. And he's been really good throughout his career at Angel Stadium. So JP Spears, left-handed pitcher as well. Angels have been doing real well against left-handed pitching. I think overall they are 7-3 against left-handed pitching, if I'm not mistaken. Or sorry, I think it was Baltimore. But nonetheless, with Ohtani on the mound here, I'm going to back them on the run line, -1.5, -120. If you want to take a look at some team totals in this game as well for the Angels, might be a stack opportunity. But -1.5, -120 for me for the Angels here, Noah.
Yeah, so I think this is a tale of two sides. Like, you're going to have some people trying to get cute again because if they remember that opening day game, it was Ohtani against the Athletics, and the A's actually won that game. So you're going to have some people trying to get cute and jumping on the Oakland money line, or it's just a standard Angels -1.5 play, and that's what I'm going to go with here. You mentioned it. The Angels are raking against lefties so far this year. They're 4th in the MLB with OPS 817. Oakland 27th against righties with a 639. So I am going to go that way with this game. Angels -1.5.
D-Rock?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a team ride, and I think Noah hit it on the head. The amount of bets that have been placed so far, it's 50-50. So I think people are trying to get cute with what they saw opening day. I agree with you guys, though. Angels run line or Ohtani K-prop,
Yes.
I thought the Angels. I thought I made the Angels a heavy favorite. I made them a -280 favorite, but they're almost they are a $3 favorite. So yeah, I'm gonna take him on the run line. Like I said, maybe a K prop as well. He has 38 Ks on the season. He struck out 10 batters the last time he faced the A's, And I think he's going to have that little revenge factor. I know he pitched well, but they did lose the game. So I think he might go after it. Angels first 5 minus a half I like as well, depending on the number. But any which way, I'm going to be on the Angels or Ohtani K-prop.
79 strikeouts in his career against the A's and 63 and 2/3 innings pitched for Shohei Ohtani. So if that number is anywhere at 7.5, I am definitely going to be on the over for strikeouts. Go ahead, Noah.
I was a little early on that.
All right, boys. Next game on the schedule. We're heading into the evening now. It's going to be a 6:40 Eastern start. The Baltimore Orioles, they are in Detroit to take on the Tigers. Kyle Gibson gets a start here for the Baltimore Orioles. Joey Wentz is on the mound for the Detroit Tigers. Minus 135 on the money line for the Baltimore Orioles and plus 115 on the money line for the home dogs here, the Detroit Tigers. Total is set at 8 with a little bit of a vig towards the over at minus 115. Run line minus 1.5 plus 130 for the Orioles and plus 1.5 minus 150 for the Detroit Tigers. Dylan, take us away here.
Yeah, give me the Orioles on the money line, minus 135. I made the Birds a minus 145 favorite on the road. Orioles, nice bounce back win today. Take the series against the Red Sox. I do like Gibson, even though he does give up a little more contact on the road than at home. I trust the Orioles on the road, 7-4 straight up, 9-3 as a favorite. Not the biggest believer in Joey Wentz either, one bit. I know the Tigers, they've kind of been playing a better ball recently, but just think this is a bad spot for him and the Tigers at home. Orioles coming into town 8-2 in their last 10. I think this is a very short price with the much better team. So let me take the Orioles to keep it rolling.
What?
So we saw this pitching matchup just last weekend, and Wentz gave up 5 and Gibson dealt only 1 run through 6.1. I like the Orioles money line play here, and most of these games in that series did go under. Now they're playing at a bigger park in Comerica Park, also in Michigan. Going to be cold this weekend because I am going to be going to a couple of baseball games this weekend. But yeah, it's not going to be great baseball weather. So the under 8 seems enticing for me here too.
Yeah, Joey Wentz, 0-3 on the season so far, 7.56 ERA. He's lost 3 of the Tigers, I should say, have lost 3 of us 4 starts so far this season. It's been by margin. Like you mentioned, Noah, they matched up last weekend where the Orioles won that game 5-1. Also, they've lost 14-5 against the Red Sox and then 5-1 against the Tampa Bay Rays. So, I'll take a step further and take the run line with the Orioles here. I think that the Orioles can get to Joey Wentz here and tag him for a few runs.
There was a cool stat that came across my timeline on Twitter from Chris Castellani from Barstool. He said that I believe the Tigers' record so far this year is 3-12 against AL East teams. Everyone else were like way above 500. So somewhat of a weird stat because we've played everybody but the Yankees so far this year, and we've gotten our asses kicked by the AL East.
He's a huge Tiger fan, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's get over to the next game of the night. We've got the Washington Nationals. They are in the Big Apple to take on the New York Mets here. Seeing Trevor Williams gets the start here for the Washington Nationals, and Joey Lucchesi gets a start here for the New York Mets. Moneyline price plus 185 for the Nationals, minus 215 for the Mets here. Total set at 8.5 with a little bit of vig towards the under at minus 115. Run line minus 1.5 plus 110 for the Mets and plus 1.5 minus 130 for the Washington Nationals. Who has this game? Oh, that's me.
I think you.
Just kidding. This was something that we talked about last week, that this was Lucchese's first start last week, right? I think it was against the Giants, if I'm not mistaken. He looked really good after missing 2+ years. Dylan, I think you can confirm me on that.
I think it was TJ.
Yeah. So he went 7 innings in that game, and he looked really good to me. Trevor Williams thus far this season, I guess he's been okay here. I'm trying to pull up the numbers here. Just had it on my page, but He's 1-1 with a 3.38 ERA. He hasn't given up more than 2 earned runs in since his first start, I should say, which was against the Tampa Bay Rays. But his last start, he pitched real well. 3-2. They got the victory to the Nationals against the Twins, and then they lost 4-3 against the Guardian his previous start. But he's been pretty consistent. So I kind of led me towards the under in this game. I think that both of these guys can pitch well. If you want to look at Mets' first 5 innings, I think that's worth a look as well. But I think my more favorite play was the under 8.5 in this game. That's at -115 right now here. Dylan, what do you think about your Mets here?
Yeah, Mets run line here for me. Loved what I saw
Shocker.
from Joey in his first start on the road. Now coming back home against, a weaker lineup, I think it sets up nicely for him to have another solid inning. Not a big fan of Trevor Williams either. Even when he was on the Mets, I think the Mets are going to want to take it out on him. I'm going to fade him and the Nationals, and 13 of the 14 Mets wins have come by the run line. So I agree on the under. I agree. I think it's going to be an under type game. Mets and Nationals both under teams. I set my line at 8.2. So 8.5. I do like the under, and I'm going to take the Mets at the plus price.
Noah?
I'm not as convinced on the under in this game just because the Nationals, their offense, when you want to back them, it is against the left-handed pitcher. They're top 10 in the league in OPS with the 757. So for me, I think this price is just too steep on Joey Lucchesi in his second game after returning from Tommy John. Plus 185 on the Nationals I'm seeing at DraftKings right now. If I'm going to bet on this game, which I'm not, I would take the Nationals plus 185 and pull a Malcolm here.
All right. Next game on the board here, gentlemen, is probably the pitching matchup of the day, I think, no doubt. Tampa Bay
Has
Rays
it been confirmed yet?
The pitching matchup?
Yeah, because it wasn't confirmed earlier. It's still not, but I have this matchup too.
Yeah. It just feels like that.
Rays are going to
it just feels like it's going to. I'll get into it in a second, but Rays and White Sox. Shane McClanahan on the mound for the Rays. Dylan Cease gets a start for the White Sox. -145 road favorites here for the Tampa Bay Rays. Plus 125 on the money line for the home dogs here, the Chicago White Sox. Total set at 7 with Vic towards the over at -125. So maybe moving towards a 7.5 here. Run line is -1.5 plus 120 for the Rays and plus 1.5 -140 for the Chicago White Sox. I don't know if it's just me, guys, but I feel like Shane McClanahan's like pitching every other day for me. Like I feel like I'm handicapping him like every other day.
Yeah.
But again, this is probably the pitching matchup of the day. That's what I see listed right now as far as the books right now on DraftKings. They do have McClanahan and Cease listed. So why don't you take us away here, Noah?
Yeah, I do feel like McClanahan's pitched a lot. And didn't he just I feel like he just pitched on the weekend. Was it Saturday or Sunday? If it's Saturday, it lines up. But either way, feels like he just pitched yesterday. McClanahan's 4-0 on the year with a 186 ERA, 37 strikeouts, 12 walks, and 29 innings pitched. Dylan Cease has pretty much been just as stellar, 2-0 with a 273 ERA, 34 strikeouts, 13 walks, and 26.1 innings. Even though this White Sox team has not wowed us, I guess, for a lack of term, to start the season. Cease has set them up to win every start he's had. He does not have a loss on his record. So I don't really have a pick for this game other than saying it's appointment television with these two guys on the mound. I think because Cease is on the mound, we're seeing a little bit of a discount on Tampa Bay's money line. So if you're going to bet this game, my pick that I would advise here is Tampa Bay is on the money line. Tampa Bay Rays on the money line.
D-Rock, what do you got?
Yeah, nothing on the side. This one was a tough one for me. I did make the Rays a -140 favorite, but let's continue to ride the trend for the over. Both of these teams love back in the over, especially in Chicago. 6-2-1 toward the over at home for the White Sox. You got 14-mile-an-hour winds blowing out into center field. The last 2 starts for Dylan Cease hasn't been the best either. He's given up a little more runs than usual, but Noah's right. He's setting the White Sox up for success. The bullpen is blowing it for them. I think both teams can tack on a few runs. Rays, they hit righties phenomenally, over 300. And I think the White Sox are due for a few runs either. So before it goes to 7.5, excuse me, I would get the over now, pay the little juice. Think it's worth the squeeze. I set my total at 7.3.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay here. I agree with Noah on the Rays here. I know Malcolm talked about putting the White Sox on his 14-day do not bet list, and I think that's been going pretty well for him. And they took another L here today.
It actually has.
On Thursday, afternoon with an 8-0 loss to the Jays. But I think for Dylan Cease, he has struggled a little bit as far as his command and giving up walks. If you kind of just look at his game log, and I think that if the Rays are able to stay patient at the plate and draw those walks, I think that they can, with the speed that this team does have, I think they can cause some havoc on the bases. He did pitch against against the Rays last Saturday, like Noah was mentioning, where he only lasted 4 innings in that game. He gave up 3 earned runs off of 6 hits in that game. So I think that we may see something similar. Back-to-back losses so far for the White Sox, and it starts by Dylan Cease here. So got the better team on the mound. On the field. Got the better pitcher in my eyes right now, as well as Shane McClanahan. I'll go with the Rays in this spot here as well. All right, guys. It is going to be the penultimate game between the Kansas City Royals and the Minnesota Twins. A little AL Central clash here. Zach Greinke gets a start here for the Kansas City Royals, and Tyler Mahle is on the mound for the Minnesota Twins. Minus 200 for the Minnesota Twins here. Plus 170 on the money line for the Kansas City Royals. Total is set at 8 with a little bit of vig towards the over at minus 115. Run line minus 1.5 plus 105 for the Twins, and plus 1.5 minus 125 for the Kansas City Royals. Dylan, take us away.
Yeah, another run line play for me. Twins minus 1.5 plus 105. I feel like I've taken a lot of those today, but I just can't back the Royals or Greinke, especially on the road. Royals, they were able to win his last start against the Angels, but outside of that, he's just been awful. The one good thing about him, and maybe something we could take advantage of, is that he doesn't walk a lot of batters, 1 or less walks in each of his starts this season. So maybe another under 1.5 walks for Greinke could be a player prop that has some value. On the other hand, Tyler Mahle is just a much better pitcher than Greinke. He just had that one bad start against the Astros, but outside of that, I think he's been all right. All 14 wins of the Twins have come by 2 or more runs. So when they're winning, they're covering the run line at plus money. I love the Twins run line here.
Yeah, for Zach Greinke, since the 2022 season, 6 appearances against the Twins. In that span, 0-5 with a 3.94 ERA. Hasn't given up a lot of runs to the Twins, but they haven't been giving him the run support in that span either. They did win one game when he did start by, I think, a run. But other than that, he just has not been, or he hasn't translated to wins for the Royals when Greinke is starting against the Twins. And again, TV DBJ pointing out Greinke on the road. I mean, yeah, that's exactly what it is. He's at Kauffman Stadium. You want to back him, but when he's on the road, you probably do want to fade him. So all in all, I agree with what D-Rock said. Run line minus 1.5 for me as well. Noah?
Everything that you guys just said, I'm going to retweet it, but add this stat. In the last 18 games these two teams have played, the Twins are 14-4 against the Royals, and they've covered the run line in 12 of them. In 12 of their wins, so 12 of the 18 games. The last time I said that, though, it was the Yankees against the Twins, and the Twins went on and won 2 of 3, and they scored like 10 in the first inning. So, I mean, do with that what you will, but I'm on the Twins run line here.
Also, a tough travel situation here for the Royals as well. They're still playing right now in Arizona, so they have to go kind of from the West Coast to, I guess, kind of the
north,
East Coast area, Central, if you want, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, this might be Midwest. There you go. If you want to, look at it from that, East Coast to West Coast to Central travel situation here as well for the Royals. So I think Minnesota were at home this weekend or this early in the week, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Who did they
believe
play?
So Jesus.
They play the Yankees, right? At home.
Yeah.
Yes, they were at home against the Yankees.
Yeah, so not a huge. So I think they have obviously advantage here and a travel disadvantage for the Royals. All right, guys. Last game on the board. It is going to be a 8:05 Eastern start. We have the New York Yankees. They are traveling to Texas to take on the Texas Rangers. Garrett Cole gets a start here for the New York Yankees, and Andrew Haney gets a start here for the Texas Rangers. Currently seeing minus 155 on the money line for the New York Yankees, plus 135 on the money line for the Texas Rangers. Total is set at 7.5 with a little bit of vig towards the over at minus 120. Run line minus 1.5 at even money and plus 1.5 minus 120 for the Texas Rangers. Noah closes out strong.
I've got to take the Rangers on the money line, either the first 5 or the full game here. They just got their asses swept in Cincinnati. So the Bats, they're going to come out hot, I think, even though that wasn't even the issue in Cincinnati. They scored 15 runs in the 3 games. The bullpen just sucked. Even with the 3 blowups, it's somehow still a top 10 bullpen in the MLB with a 3.36 ERA. But I just think that Heaney, he did have a short stint as a Yankee, can keep this struggling Yankees offense at bay because the Yankees, they're 27th in the MLB in OPS against left-handed pitching. If you're afraid of the Rangers bullpen, maybe go first 5 or first 7 money line. But yeah, I'm just not going to back the Yankees at this price when the offense just hasn't been as hot as they were at the opening of the season.
D-Rock.
Yeah, I'm right there with Noah. I have to take the home puppy in this spot. I only made the Yankees a minus 160 favorite. They finally snapped their losing streak today, and maybe that gets them going a little bit. But I like the Rangers and their bats. They crush righties, and I think we finally see some regression from Cole. This is only his second start on the road. I think he comes down to earth just a tad. And Yankees, on the other hand, only hit 203 off of lefties. I think Andrew Heaney, I think he's been all right this season. Besides that one start. Other than that, only 2 runs given up in the other 3 starts. I think he can have success against his former teammate. I agree with Noah. I think they come back aggressive after getting swept. I'll take the Rangers first 5 plus a half, and I'll probably take the Rangers here as a home puppy.
Garrett Cole against the Rangers since the 2021 season when he joined.
He's been great.
Against the Rangers. Actually, he hasn't been very good against the Rangers. 0-2 with a 4.15 ERA, 26 strikeouts in 3 appearances. And they've lost obviously 2 out of the 3 starts. Let's see if they lost this one as well. No. So there seems like there has been some struggles for Garrett Cole against the Texas Rangers. And I think we're all kind of waiting for that start where we see Garrett Cole kind of implode. And it might just be the start against one of the better offenses that he may have faced. Are probably the best offense that he's probably faced all season, if I'm not mistaken. I'm kind of take a look at who he's faced so far this year. Blue Jays, Twins, I mean Guardians, Phillies, and Giants. So arguably, maybe the best offense that he's seen.
Either the Rangers or the Blue Jays.
Yeah, so I think that the Rangers can get to him here as well. I'm with you guys. Plus 135 on the money line here for the Texas Rangers as well.
Yeah, so the Rangers, they're 4th in the MLB in OPS against right-handed pitching, and Toronto is 8th. That's a 806 compared to a 756. So, 50 points better.
And how are the Yankees against left-handed pitching, if you have that?
Oh, it's bad. I said it's 27th in the MLB.
Okay.
They're hitting 203 off of them.
Yeah, they have a 648 OPS, 91 WRC plus, so just below league average in runs created. But when it comes to hitting stats, they are not great at all. Relying on the home runs.
There we go. All right, that is the 11 game schedule for the Thursday games in MLB. A lot of day baseball tomorrow. So let's close it out strong here with our locks and dogs. D-Rock, why don't you lead us off?
Ooh, I was hoping not to.
All right, Noah, lead us off.
Yeah, please.
All right, so since I have the pleasure of leading it off, I am going to go. I had 2 plays, and I was hoping that one of them would be crossed out by you guys, but I'm going to go with the San Francisco Giants minus 130. I loved it across the board. The only angle that I'm a bit nervous about it is they do go to Mexico City after this game, but at home with their ace on the mound, they shouldn't be looking ahead too much. Plus, it's not as far as a flight as Padres coming from Chicago to Mexico City. So give me the Giants minus 130 on the money line. And then for my dog, I like the Chicago Cubs plus 115. A lot of the same reasons for that game just flipped. I think it's a look-ahead spot to Mexico City. And I like Hayden Wesneski. I think that the Chicago Cubs offense is rolling right now, and I'm not getting on the Padres offense right now with any confidence at all. So give me the Cubs at the plus price, plus 115.
All right, so I'll go with my lock and dog. Give me the Angels minus 1.5 with Ohtani on the mound against the Oakland A's. I anytime Ohtani's pitching at home, I want to get behind him. And I think this is one of those spots. I know D-Rock also mentioned his strikeout props. Anything at 7.5, I'm pounding the over on Shohei Ohtani. But as a log, Angels minus 1.5, minus 120 against JP Spears. And then for my dog, let's go with the Baltimore Orioles on the run line, minus 1.5, plus 130. It's really fading Joey Wentz here. Kyle Gibson, undefeated so far this season. ERA is a little higher than my expectation, but I think that the bats can definitely get to Joey Wentz here for the Baltimore Orioles. So I will take the minus 1.5, plus 130 on the Baltimore Orioles. Dylan?
I should have went first. Noah took both the ones I wanted. Give me the Birds. I'll take the Orioles. I think this is a short price for them on the road against the Tigers. Like everything, Malcolm. I'm sorry. I don't want to offend you, Munaf.
I was offended calling me Malcolm. What a wanker.
He goes, I wanted the two picks that Noah has, and then he picked Munaf's pick.
I did it on the money line.
He did it on the money line. It's okay.
I don't trust Joey Wentz here. Orioles are just hot right now, 8-2 in their last 10. So short price on the road. I like them. And for my dog, let's go to the early game. Let me take the Braves minus 1.5, plus 110. Yeah. Do not trust Braxton here. I think Kyle Wright's going to have a good start. Braves much better team than the Marlins, so it's tough to back the fish right here against Garrett. So I'm going to go Braves run line at plus 110 for my dog.
That's a great pick. That was one of them that I had circled too.
Yeah, what we should have done is picked a triple lock and then really tested it and see is it Malcolm that's a curse to us, or is it that that it's just a triple lock thing. But I did like the Braves as well. I considered that one as well.
We're at 48 minutes right now, and we got a couple of new reviews, so why not hit on
that rip and
some
run
of those. And they were not mentioning Malcolm in most of them, I do believe. So
I thought one of them did.
Oh, yeah. Mal, 5 stars. Where did you find this guy? Legend. One of the best. And then there was one more higher. 5 stars from Mickey Ma, 1983. Very informative show. A must listen for baseball fans and bettors. Very informative and a great way to get ahead of the game. This one, 5 stars from Tex Watson. Another high-quality pod from SGPN. MLB Gambling Podcast is yet another high-quality pod from SGPN, displaying their diverse array of handicappers. Funny and informative, just like the college experience, NBA tennis, and all other top-tier shows. And then today we had a couple of new ones as well. We had from Jace59, exactly what I was looking for, 5 stars. Thanks.
That's the best one.
Thanks. And then last one, 5 stars from Brad Krause. Well done, boys. Love listening to the pod on my way to work every morning and really like the insight on all the games and helping me make my picks that much easier. Keep it rolling, boys, and let it ride. Cheers.
Yeah, love it. Appreciate all the reviews and the ratings that you guys have left. If you're listening, if you haven't done so already, please do so. Whether it's on Spotify or whether it's on Apple Podcasts or wherever you do listen to your pods, definitely appreciate all the ratings and reviews that we do get, and again, we will shout them out on the episodes here. That's gonna do it. A tidy about 50 to 52 minutes here. Only 11 games. That's why I think we got through it fairly quickly. But no, anything else before we get out of here, buddy?
Just like I said, let's pump up that SGPN NFL mock draft. Everybody tune in. That's tonight, but you can also watch it or listen back to it on Thursday before the draft. It's going to be a ton of fun. Lots of SGPN contributors and even some guys and girls from the outside. So it'll be plenty of fun. Tune in. I highly recommend it.
Yep. D-Rock, anything else?
No, just retweet everything you guys said, like, review, subscribe, and hit the follow button on our Twitter. We're only 8 follows away from 1,000, so we're getting up there.
Yes.
So, yeah, hopefully we could compete with the big boys one day.
Yeah, definitely. If you haven't already, follow us on Twitter at MLB SGPN. Follow Noah on Twitter at 77NB. Follow Dylan on Twitter at Rock with 2Ks, ROCKK24. Follow me on Twitter at SportsNerd824. Again, like I mentioned, make sure to follow the Twitter account. And then if you haven't already subscribed to the YouTube channel for the MLB Gambling Podcast, please go ahead and do so. We'll be back tomorrow. The same crew here. That wanker is in London. I don't know if he's actually working or just saying taking a vacation, but
he's scoping out the ballpark for June.
We should end on a good note. He did go 4 for 4 on his Premier League picks tonight.
Oh yeah, plug in the Premier League again.
All right. I had a pretty good day in EPL as well, but it wasn't because of Mal. It was probably more because of Barry. But so thank you, Barry. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, guys. Same time, 5:00 Eastern. So tune in with us on YouTube. If not, I'll play back on the podcast players always there for you guys. All right, guys. Good luck with your bets. Let's break these books off and let it ride.